traders, welcome to Profiling to Profit, the week ahead in futures. It is August 6, 2016. It's a Saturday. Wanted to get a video out to you this weekend. Take a look at next week. Welcome to summer trading. It was another interesting week last week. A lot of low volumes, no volatility to really speak of. And if you're new to trading, we'll talk a little bit about volatility in the summertime. So let's take a look at what we got coming up this week on the economic calendar. We have a lot of nothing, to be honest. There's just nothing really going on in the U.S. here and around overseas as well. The only thing I can see of significance this week would be the EIA petroleum status report. Probably need to keep an eye on that if you're an oil trader. Let's go over around the seas again, or overseas, should I say. There's just nothing. We got a lot of yellow news. There's a couple little things. I don't think they're going to be market movers. Looks like New Zealand has an interest rate decision, so if you trade that currency, you need to keep an eye out on that, of course. Let's see, GDP out of Europe. Other than that, not a lot. So we are expecting a slow week coming up. Let's take a look at that week coming up and what happened last week. Well, last week the highlight was the non-farm payroll here in the U.S. and that was a decent number, and that got the kick. You can see here we had this huge gap up on Friday, and it just absolutely took off from there. So nothing new. You can see the channel here in the NASDAQ. We were expecting it to break. It tried to break, but it rallied back up into the channel. And of course, this thing rallied on Friday up in the top of the channel, sold off just a little bit. Nothing to really write home about. At this point, again, everything, the path of least resistance is to the upside. We would like to see a break of this channel, break below these volume areas here on the last couple weeks, and then revisit and hold for targets down into that upper on the larger profile, the value area high at 45.56, and then down to our channel here, which is the 4500 and the 4519 area. If we get down in that area and this is going to resume to the upside, this is most likely where it will happen. At this point, it's really hard to get long up in this area. We are not long. We are avoiding that side of it. If anything, we'll look for quick shorts that we could add to and build a position down into this area. But right now, we just don't have anything there. Same thing with the ES. Now, you could have gotten long in here. We did not, and we didn't see this. We saw this big move down early in the week, and then a big recovery where we entered back in the previous week's range, and of course it rolled up into that upper level, and then with the news on Friday, it popped above there and made brand new highs at 2178 and a half. If it's interesting, we'll take a look at the Russell here real quick, and then I'll go back and pull out these time frames and take a look at a little deeper picture. Same thing happened on the Russell. They tried to sell it off and then faked everybody back up. As soon as you entered this previous week's range, that could have been a signal or a trigger for you to get long. The risk is really small. The reward is pretty good in here, knowing that the path of least resistance is to the upside. We do have an area down here we're watching. Of course, we have a gap and then another gap down below, and this area here should hold, but we're so far away from that. Let's pull this out a little bit, take a look at the daily. Now, we've talked about these the indices diverging quite a bit, and we're seeing this, that actually the Russell's starting to catch up a little bit. Highs up here at 1292. What did we close at? It looks like we closed at was it 1228, 1227 and some change up there. So we're getting a lot closer, while the ES continues to climb higher and make new highs, if my chart works for me. And then of course the NASDAQ is doing the same. So right now, if the Russell catches up, all bets are off to the upside. It could be a big move to the upside. And I'm not predicting that. I'm just saying keep an eye on it. We're starting to see things catch up. We knew that would happen eventually. We didn't know if it was to the upside or the downside, but keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and keep going here. Let's take a look at oil. Oil is very interesting. It keeps moving lower on us. We were watching this area here after it blew through. Our area of interest here where the risk was defined. It went down. We thought that this area could be an extra area down at the 40-30 area, and it just absolutely blew through that area as well. So there was no trade force in here at all. At this point, the path of least resistance is to the downside, obviously. We are not looking to trade this long at this point. Now again, if you wanted to get long in here, the trigger, a trigger could have been an entry back into the previous week's range. We did not use that trigger. That is not one of our triggers per se. My favorite triggers are a couple different ones. So we're going to take this area off up here. Obviously, if you are long, the area up here, 46.25 down in that 44.91 is a target. At this point, anything below the 49.52 and the 50.20, the path of least resistance is to the downside. So where do you go to the downside? If you are short, if you're still short, we covered this position, but if you're still short, we do have some targets down around that 37.5 area. And then, of course, we're going to probably see some resistance or some support down here at 35.30 area, which is that value area low. So keep an eye on that. We're going to watch crude closely. We think it's going to have some volatility in over the next couple of weeks. Now, whether it's to the downside or the upside, we'll have to watch that. So keep an eye on that. We'll post a video if anything interesting shows up. Gold is getting squirrely up here. We were long a little position this week to the late into the week. We did end up getting stopped out on. We kept a really tight stop. We thought we could break the 1375 and start heading up to the 1393. We did not get that. It obviously rolled over pretty quickly after the news on Friday and has continued to move down. Now, we closed on the lows on Friday. Of course, that's pretty bearish in that we do have a couple gaps that we could fill. We are still watching this area, the 1284, the 1284 into that 1293. It's a 10-point area down there of risk. We're watching that area. The 1375 halves area, this needs to get cleaned up here. Now, I think they're going to probably sell it off before they roll back up again. Will they get this low? Not real sure. We did have a couple people get short in here. Again, we are not short. There are some that we know that are. They triggered by an entry into the previous week's range. They did get some nice profit in here, and the risks have been controlled. We have eventually, like that 1393 area up here, we still think that target is on the table, and we will find an area to reestablish our long positions in here. So right now we're being very patient. If I haven't said it yet, and I think I have in the last few videos, patience is a key to successful trading. If you're just pulling the trigger left and right, then you're probably seeing profits roll out of your account pretty quickly. Please don't do that. All right, off to the bonds and the notes. Bonds and the notes are just sort of going sideways at this point. They tried to rally. They did take out that previous week's high. We thought we didn't want anything to do with the short side after this quick rally, after hitting this target and the way they closed it. They did sell it off, and they were bouncing back around. We thought for sure they'd take this out and start to rally back up into these highs at 134.06. They sold off, obviously, on the news. So this area is holding. We're not going to get short in here if we're not already, and we are not. If anything, we're looking for this to break and hold and then roll up and take out new highs. If you are still short, this is a valid trade still. If you haven't taken some off at your first target, your second target, and maybe your final target is down here at 130.26, that is a valid target, and that is still a very good trade if you're in it. So congratulations, manage that appropriately. And then of course the bonds is the same thing. A lot of sideways. Actually had an inside week on the bonds for the most part. Nope, we poked outside of that. I'd still look for a move outside of this range this coming week. It looks and it feels a little heavy in here. The profile is sort of pointing to the downside in here. But again, we think this thing needs to clean some messes up to the upside. The notes are really dictating that right now. So let's take a look back at the notes. If I can type the symbol in correctly. The notes are dictating that we have some stuff to clean up here, and we'd like to see that get cleaned up, and then take out some new highs up there. Now, a lot of, again, we say that, and that's what we're looking at with a profile. That's what we're looking at with the structure of the market. But as you know, central bankers have their own ideas, so you always have to be prepared. Use your stops, define your risk. Please do not trade what we call naked. And I'm not talking about your clothing, I'm talking about your stops, because doing that will obviously cost you a lot of money in the long run. All right, let's go take two more looks here. The euro, I am really struggling to get these symbols in here. How about that? The euro sideways, sideways to slightly up. We have not yet hit our zones that we've been looking for, these risk zones here. Just a bunch of sideways stuff. This is summer trading. I'm sure half of the European traders are gone, or the bank times over in Europe and around the country. This is great vacation time. August is one of the slowest months to trade, and you just have to understand that. If you're new to trading, just understand there are seasons to trading. The summertime, late summer especially, August, is when a lot of vacations happen, and when people are just not interested in the markets or interested in their family as they should be, and they're running around enjoying the vacations for them. So the volumes are very low, which we've seen, and of course the movements are stagnant, and that's exactly what we're seeing here in the euro. We thought we'd have some opportunity to move this thing with Mario speaking and some of the announcements, and it has yet to happen. It is maintaining this channel. We expect this channel to break. I'm cautious of this upper zone here. If this zone does hold, it may be a short-term hold before they roll it up. This channel typically doesn't break to the low side, but again, let's take a look. Let's pull this thing out. Now, it looks like this is a channel and it's a bullish channel, but if you look at the overall structure of the market going forward, you'll see here on the profile, this is just a lot of balance right in this area. This is a big balance area. They will move this out of the balance area eventually. We just not sure when. They could go down and make new lows down here. They could go and they have this huge magnet right above here. So either way, we got to keep an eye on it. It is come a long way. It's going sideways. We don't know if this is a bottoming pattern yet or if they're going to continue this down. So keep an eye on that. Otherwise, there's just nothing to do in the euro at the moment. And let's go look at our friend Mr. Corn. The grains, we talked about those last week. We thought, hey, you know what? These things probably need a rest. These come a long way, probably go sideways. They did go sideways and went sideways to down. If they go down, that's great. We're just not going to be involved in them down here at this levels. Again, we think it's going to be a lot of sideways motion in here until we get into harvest season and we start getting numbers out of harvest season, and then we will probably get a definite direction into that December period when contract expires. So other than that, guys, if you are having some troubles trading or need some help, first of all, we want to invite you to give us a call and talk with us a little bit. You can go to our contact page at Market Profile Trading Academy. Go ahead and reach out to us at 541-728-3217. That is our number direct. You can go ahead and call us and talk to us, and most likely Matt will pop on the phone, answer some of your questions, see if he can help you out. And then of course we have lots of free resources over here. They're just for you. We don't ask anything in return. However, if you do want this great book, 7 Secrets to Trading Success, go ahead and drop your email in there. We're not going to spam you. We're not jerks that way. We just want to help educate you, become a successful trader, get your attain all your goals. We have videos, webinars, tips, resources, you name it, we've got it over there. Other than that, gang, hey, it is slow. It is summer. If you have the chance, get out of the office. Go take some time off. Enjoy the family before the kids go back to school and before this volume picks back up, because I can tell you we have an election coming in the U.S. here that will most likely increase volatility as we get closer to November. Enjoy the downtime now. Have a great week and trade well. Take care.